What is up, you brothers? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here again for yet another classic live stream. Hope you brothers are doing good. First and foremost, can you hear me loud and clear? I want to know if my audio is reaching out to you, brothers. Let me know right now. How is my audio? How is my audio? Press a one to chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, can y'all hear me? How's the audio coming? Nate Callie, my mod, appreciate you, bro. Mike Lawrence, appreciate you. Matumbo Dibwe, shout out to you too, brother. Appreciate you as well, myself. I think we're good, man. We're good. So, brothers, welcome to another classic live stream. I want to say a huge um, shout out to J Bones. Huge shout out to the brothers who have subscribed to the channel for many years, who have supported the channel for many years. Greatly appreciated. Welcome aboard the new supporters and the new subscribers. I accept you and welcome you with open arms. Brothers, make sure you hit the like button as soon as possible. Make sure you join the Patreon. Make sure you hit the cash apps throughout this evening. And of course, please hit the super chat. Support is needed for this channel to keep on going. And it'll be greatly appreciated. Okay. Always make sure you support the channel. Hit the like button, comment, hit the donations, and make sure you join the Patreon too. And of course, shout out to Mr. Jeremy Sears for the $25 super chat already. Appreciate this brother. This brother is new to the scene, a member of the Patreon, always supports on every stream with hefty donations. I appreciate you a lot, Jeremy Sears. It means a lot to me, bro. Thank you very much for the $25 super chat donations. Thank you, bro. A lot of hard work goes into this channel, and your donations are greatly needed. Thank you, brother. Awesome. So, in this stream today, it's a very special stream. We officially have a brother who has made it to Japan. Over the last few years, Japan has closed their borders to any new people. But last month, Japan opened their borders for work visas and student visas. We have a brother who has made it to Japan from America. He's made that leap. He's talking the talk. So he's walking the walk, and he ain't just talking the talk. A lot of you brothers, you watch the content, but you got to start walking the walk as well. Apply my content to your personal lives as well. So without any further ado, I want to welcome our guest, called Mr. DS. How you doing, DS? You okay, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. And I wanted to say thank you for having me on your show and talking to other brothers about, you know, taking the steps to get into Japan and just telling you how it is on the ground. So pretty much in the field of what's going on in Japan right now because they're starting to open up, and I know I've been hearing a lot of rumors or even like good news that June tourism will start to open up. I know there's certain like stipulations depending on your country, but it's looking pretty good, especially for the fall. I don't think close the border anymore. I think they're over that, especially now that the yen has been dropping, so their economy has been hit. So they're ready for tourism.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, brother, let's get straight into the meat of things. So, brother, please give us a brief introduction about yourself first before we go further into the stream, brother. Give us a background as to who you are, what you were doing in America, where you're from in America, how you got involved in this passport movement. And we're going from there afterwards, brother.
Uh, cool. Let's do it. I'm DS. I'm from America. Uh, Basically, I'm from the DMV area. So that's Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and Maryland. So I'm in that little area. And basically, what I did in America was freelancing. I worked a lot in the film industry. I did a lot of art department, production assistant work. So I lived in LA for 3 years. Then I also lived in Florida doing some freelance work too on commercials and stuff. So I love to travel. So, you know, working in film, which is my passion, and just traveling around the country, working on projects and stuff like that, it's a dream. But, like with all dreams, it evolves. You know, you're always looking for more knowledge and wanting to do more. Um, so I've always liked film and TV work and stuff like that. I even did a program in high school that I had to get into that started with television productions. But so I was working in that type of realm for a while. And if anybody knows about California, it's very liberal. It's very in your face type. So you deal with a lot of I would say a lot of strange people for sure. Encountering, and those are kind of one of my reasons on why I started to move away from America in a sense, or just getting tired of it, especially with people getting into a lot of politics and uh, he, she, pronoun games and the toxicity with women and also just in general with everybody else. So it's been kind of, California, especially in Los Angeles. I lived in Koreatown, so that's kind of close to downtown LA. That's when the freaks come out because you see all types of different people encounters, and I laugh about it, but it was a great experience, by the way, just learning. But yeah, that's a little bit of my background. Of I've mostly just been working in film and TV, freelancing, doing jobs, and as you can imagine, unless you're in the union, which is like, I mean, it's just like any other union, but in Hollywood specifically, uh, they are very big into that. So if you don't have like your union days or your union cards to get into, like, be protected, it's tough. So like work, sometimes you can have like a bunch of commercials, a bunch of gigs one month, then the next month, unless you're union or nepotism, or you got friends or people in the industry that really got your back like that to get you consistent work, it could be tough. So you might only have two shows, and then the next month it might be a holiday. Like usually January is a slow month for the film industry. So, good luck trying to find work. You might find a few shows, but I mean, it's a way of life. That's what I always describe, working in film and stuff like that. It's really a lifestyle, and it, you know, I was just kind of getting tired of that. And so when the pandemic hit in 2020, things were getting even harder than they were before because of how limited shows and COVID and a bunch of other different things. And that's when I started looking into programs about Japan, because I took a trip early 2020. Um, and when I took those trips in Japan, I also went to Hong Kong and kind of saw how life was so different than American life. And this was around the same time I started getting into the passport movement. I started hearing other brothers talk about their stories in Colombia, Brazil, and I'm just hearing all these good things, like they live in a whole new life. The women treating them better. They're enjoying their life. They're enjoying the work, and just that freedom of they're not have to be stuck in their home country and to take all that crap from the women, the people, and family. Sometimes even family just they be on you. So basically, early 2020 was when I started looking into those red pill talks and trying to like help myself, and just also listen to other people's stories that of successful black men doing it, and trying to like get on their level basically. And and RP Kevin Samuels, man, he was a his content was amazing. But also with IP's content, that's what really got me going to say, you know what, I'm hearing all these great things about Japan. And obviously, I mean, I love Asian women, and in my area sometimes it's tough to even meet Asian women, or they kind of stay in their communities, and they don't branch out. But I heard so many good things from brother Theo, brother Tony Berry, And I said, man, I need to be like these brothers and start heading, east. I said, man, I'm getting tired of this. Either that or Colombia, because I see a lot of brothers in Colombia and even Brazil enjoying the best Latinas that that the country can offer. So I was like, man, I got to either one. But at the end of the day, I chose Japan. So that's kind of like the start of, you know what? Let me get my stuff together and start making the move. And unfortunately, it took about 2 years because of the whole Japan just shut down. There was a lot of different xenophobia stuff going on, a lot of unknowns. And Japan is a country where they do not care about the rest of the world unless it starts affecting their own economy. And at that time, it wasn't really messing with them. So they said, you know what? Forget all foreigners and students. And so basically, strict shutdowns. And even within that time, they switched prime ministers. And it was the same thing. They always appeal to the older people because Japan has an older society and they don't like change, to be honest with you. Change is something they don't really like. And so they usually, people that replace people in the government are people that are just like them with the same type of policies of Japan people are always first. And so with that, a lot of the older voters, which is the majority population of Japan, older folks, uh, and I saw a lot of different videos on that as well from the Japanese perspective. They did not care about tourism. They'd rather just stay safe. And for 2 years, man, 2 years, I was like, a lot of people gave up because I was in a program for, a company to teach English. I was just trying to find any way to get my green card or any way to get into the country, actually. I was like, man, I want to be there. I want to stay there longer. I felt like my 2.5 weeks wasn't enough to kind of see all of Japan. So I really was like, man, whatever it takes, I'll take it. And after 2 years and kind of just dealing with American life, just working job to job, and you know, eventually I found a decent job at the airport, which was nice, but I still wasn't in my field of what I went to school for. So I was just kind of doing that to, stack up money, pass the time, and eventually that time came. And I got into Japan April 21st. So very recently. I'm still, it hasn't been a month yet, so I'm still kind of fresh on Japan. But so far, I've already, got a few little stories here and there, and
Be,
certain
be,
people I've already
before we
met.
go, before we go into Japan further, bro,
Yes.
how and before also brothers, we have to get the likes up. We must get the likes up, brothers. We have over 40 people watching. We should be on at least 35 likes. So can we please hit that like button if you have not liked the video already? That is all that I'm asking. Please hit the like button, please. And make sure you send through your super chats and cash out to support this powerful movement. Support, support, support. I need all your support, brothers. Okay, so please donate to the channel, join the Patreon, and just hit the like button. That's all I ask for, brothers. Okay, please support. So, brother, how did you get? So you got in Japan through a work visa. What was the whole
Hmm.
process in the work visa into getting into Japan? So, how did you find the Japanese job? How long was the process for? Break it down for us, but what
Okay.
job are you working as? What job was it? We want to know the resources you used to find that Japanese job. Break it down for us, bro.
Gotcha. So one of the best websites for foreign people is Gaijinpot. Gaijinpot have a bunch of different jobs, not just English, but they have any jobs, IT. It just gives a good sense of like where you can apply to. It's a really good website. It's very helpful with links, resources, how to find apartments, how to like get yourself more situated in Japan. And so I kind of just, for me, I just Google searched. I was like, jobs in Japan that require no English or maybe not that much experience, depending on it. But for any type of teaching job, you're always going to have a 4-year degree, so a bachelor's of some sorts. It doesn't matter what field it is. It doesn't have to be in education, but it has to be something from an accredited school to get into the English teaching jobs of ALT, assistant language teacher. And basically, the process for me, it took about like 3 months. This was still in the early COVID stages, so we had to do everything virtual. Usually, you would do it in person. You would go to, there's each different hubs of where you kind of go into, and basically they interview you. They even quiz you, but it's not something you should worry about. It's just really trying to sniff out if you're like socially like normal, if that makes any sense. Because you'll have a lot of people that are like fanatics, and you're working with kids, and really they just want to be like a talk show host person. So they usually want you to be energetic unless you're teaching high school. But for like elementary and middle school, they kind of just want you to be not boring. You know what I mean? Just kind of have a little bit of personality. So like the whole interview step of that was just, do you like Japan? Are you okay with staying for a year? Because they get you on a contract, especially if you're overseas. If you're overseas, they really ask you like how committed you are. Because once you're over here and you decide to say, hey, you know what? After a month or two, now I'm not feeling it. You kind of really screw over the Board of Education, finding replacements and stuff like that, and it just makes everything tougher. So they really try to sniff out, that type of stuff of like, yo, how committed are you? Are you willing to drive in this country? Are you willing to do this? And so they, if you get through all those stages, eventually, if they don't think you're some weirdo, they'll say, hey, come to our second interview. We have like this big, and it's like with other people as well, kind of, I mean, at least for me. And they just kind of ask some questions and then eventually have like a final quiz. And the quiz is just stuff they already talked about. They're just trying to say like, hey, we said this. How many weeks do you expect, or how much money you need to bring? Because in most cases, you got to bring your own money. They don't pay for your ticket. They will not pay for your ticket. I don't know about the JET program. I know the JET program is more of a government program. I don't know if they buy your ticket, but most companies in Japan will not buy your ticket to come over here. They'll take care of you afterwards once you come to Japan in terms of transportation to get you where you need to. But these types of Japanese English companies, they really do help you get a place, which is the biggest hurdle, is getting an apartment and finding a place, because Japan is not really foreigner friendly towards apartments, and so you always need like somebody that like vouch for you, basically. So basically like a realtor, like somebody always has to vouch for you. That's a fact. And you've already heard stories of like, oh, I got denied. I got, especially like if you look on YouTube and stuff like that, that's a real common thing. And some of the reasons for that is they just don't want to deal with anybody who doesn't know Japanese. Even if you do know Japanese, they still don't want to deal with you. And also the way you trash, which is a whole nother topic, which I'm still learning how to do, because there's the way you have to dispose trash. It is so complicated. When I went to City Hall in my local town, they gave me a whole sheet and guide on how to sort trash. Like, certain trash can't be with this trash. You can only sort this on a certain day. It's a whole schedule on how to dispose of trash.
So let
So
me ask this, brother.
those are one of the things that I learned coming here. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask this, brother. So, where in Japan are you now? Are you in Tokyo? Are you in Osaka?
I'm in Shizuoka. That's the prefecture I am in. I'm east of Shizuoka, so I'm like in Susono. So I'm located
Okay.
I'm in the small town of like Susono. Yeah, which is
Awesome.
like an
Awesome.
hour away bullet train from Tokyo in Yokohama. So yeah,
Fantastic,
it's
bro.
not that far. Like I literally went to Tokyo last week and then Yokohama. Yeah,
Okay.
so
So now
it's
you
not
have an
that far
English.
to like bullet train. Literally, my ticket. Mhm.
So you have an English teaching job
Say that
in.
again.
You have an English teaching job in Japan right now.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question for you now.
Yeah.
How is that going in terms of
Mhm,
just how the students treat you as a black man? Because obviously we find that English teaching is the
mhm,
easiest way for black men to get into Japan. How are the teachers treating you? How are the kids treating you? Tell us good experiences about English teaching
mhm.
and bad experiences about English teaching, bro. Break it down for us.
So far, actually completing my first, few weeks of teaching. When it comes to the kids, they're they're really nice. They're very friendly. A lot of them, I feel like the women are more friendlier than guys. I'll be honest. Like a lot of little girls and stuff always come up to you, always say hi. They always want to practice their English with you. I've noticed that the females usually have better English speaking skills, and I think that also goes for just women in general in Japan. Women will speak better English than any of the guys I've encountered. Like just going, to the supermarket or like buying a movie ticket or something like that. Like most of the time, women will know English. You'll be surprised on which women already know like a little bit of English to like get you through. But yeah, the students, uh, the kids are very friendly. They always like some of them are very curious, so they'll literally come up to you and try to ask like what sport you like, or they'll tell you something about their experience with whatever country you're from. But overall, they're you'll have a couple of kids that are just like wow, and I think you get that wow factor of being a black man if the kids are younger. Because the older the kids are, the more they're like, "Oh, I've seen you before," or "I've seen," like, there's still a, surprise factor. Honestly, the biggest surprise factors are, like, in elementary school, where they'll come running up to you and start grabbing on you, like, just pulling on your shirt. Sometimes they'll touch your skin, but I've only encountered that with, like, the real young students. And sometimes they get shocked. You see their eyes popped. Like if you walk through a hallway and they catch you, sometimes they get shocked. It's kind of funny actually. But when it comes to teachers, though, uh, some of them do not. They do not care about. Uh, the only ones that are really gonna be kind of like wanting to get to know you are your JTE, so your Japanese English teachers. Those are going to be the ones where they're going to make a bigger effort because they have to work with you. And my JTEs, at least two of them, they already invited me to go drink with them next week. So I'm looking forward for that because they just want to know about they first all want to get their English better, and they just want to like learn about my culture and where I come from. And the same goes for them because I want to learn about them as well. But then other teachers, they'll straight up ignore you. Some will say hello or hi, they'll be polite. Like they're not just going to be rude and, but the Japanese way is like, you won't, like, if they don't like you, you'll never know. They'll just, they'll do their little bows here and there. But like most of the time, like if they do not like you, they just will not deal with you whatsoever. They won't tell you anything. That's another thing about, you're on a need to know basis. Like if anything goes on, whether it's a COVID situation with one student or if you don't know Japanese, everything they give you is in Japanese. Like all this event is happening today. Everything's in Japanese. There is no, in America you would have like different languages on different papers, like Spanish or, you know, Korean. Like they have in Japan, that's not the case. Everything they give you is in Japanese, and the same thing goes for filling out paperwork.
Hold
Everything's
on,
in
bro.
Japanese, and
Hold on, bro.
it's a struggle.
Hold on, bro.
Hmm.
So Can you speak Japanese? Did you learn Japanese in America before going to Japan? How are you surviving without any Japanese, bro? If everything's in Japanese, unless you can speak Japanese already.
I learned.
Speak on that, bro.
Oh, I'll tell you. So I know a little bit. Like I can get along. You know what I mean? Like if I was a tourist, I'm set. So like I have like the tourist or tourism like type of like level to get through, get by, order, do what you need to do, point certain things, like real simple. But now living here, it's a different game actually. And what's really been helping me is the Google Translate app. There's a feature with the camera that converts uh, kanji into English with just your phone or even taking pictures. And it's really good. Like I went into a restaurant where it was just the whole menu was in Japanese. And I was with one of the other ALTs, like the other foreign people that came off the plane with you. And they got some, some of them have better English skills, some, medium, but they still can't read a full menu. I pull out my phone, bam. Oh, this is chicken, this is pork, and when I order it, that's exactly what I get. But also reading and filling out paperwork, I mean, it's a lifesaver. I don't know how many times in just my short time here where that has saved me like a lot of trouble, like with the train stations or just when somebody hands me a piece of paper where I have to fill out important documents, like setting up my bank account, setting up your registration card, like a lot of those important details that you would do in your home country, like the Google Translate app with that camera feature. And you can also draw the kanjis too in the app. So if you're good at, drawing or writing kanji, and you just don't know it, that also helps too. So that's how I've been kind of, honestly, if you were to use that you would you would survive. I mean, you really would.
Okay, brother.
As long as you have, cell service.
Let me ask this now. Yes, Tommy San 8G, please reach out to me on Instagram as soon as possible, preferably today. I want to speak to you about Japan. And if you can call in as well later on today, please call in. Brothers, can we please get the likes up? Can we please send in the super chats and cash apps, okay? Let's support this channel. Let's support this movement, the international passport movement. I cannot do it without your support. So please donate to the channel via the super chat and cash app. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So, brother, you said you came off the plane with foreign people. Do you work with other foreign people? Do you work with any beautiful woman? Maybe beautiful foreign woman, not from America, of course. I mean, any woman caught your eye? Break it down for us, bro.
Well, at my junior high school, it's just me. But at my elementary school, I do work with other foreign people for like different days. I'll see them in the office, but we don't double teach in the same class or anything like that. There was one cute girl. She was from Australia. But I think she was half Japanese. So,
Ooh,
she was kind of
okay.
mixed. Yeah.
Ooh.
So like half Japanese, half Australian.
So,
And she
brother,
was cute. She was bad. I won't lie.
are you gonna move to that, brother? You're gonna move to that chick? Move to that girl? What are you doing, bro? Are you making moves to date her? What's going on with you, bro? Come on, man.
I really just want, Japanese, strict Japanese, if there is a hot Japanese Brazilian girl, I'm
Ooh,
looking into that, or even, Blasian, but it's rare to see that. And most of the time they on a different level. Cause like when I go to Tokyo, that's where you see a lot of different mixed people. And same
ooh,
thing with Yokohama. The big cities is where you're going to see all the mixed people. Like, and I can't wait to go to Osaka eventually because I hear there's even more. But that's where you see a lot of the mixed foreign like mixed beauties. That's where you really see them is in these big cities, because in the countryside, there'll be a couple foreign people, but they not beautiful, bro. Like I encountered a
Oh,
couple Jamaicans, and
what?
they look like the American Jamaicans. You know what I mean? A little, overweight type stuff. Like, and trust me, even when I was in Shinjuku, doing the like late night clubbing, I saw some two white girls, and I knew they had to be American because the way they were dressed. I mean, you ever see those big girls who put on tight things that you know that it shouldn't even be on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I had to look away. I was like, man, this stuff reminds me of America. Like, some of those big girls that go to clubs and they try to put on things they shouldn't be even wearing. Um, but yeah, no, in terms of with her, nah, these girls have these long distance boyfriends that they claim to be with. But some most of these pretty girls, they're just here for a nice vacation, like an extended 1 year vacation, because they don't plan on staying long. There was a Jamaican girl that was cute too, but I can already tell that they're already westernized, like to an extent, because they were talking about feminism, and once I started hearing that, I was like, no, I
Wait,
just
pause,
like a
pause,
coworker, like hi, hello,
pause, brother.
you
Pause.
know.
So you're telling me within your workplace, you got foreign women speaking about feminism within your workplace? Why are they speaking on that, bro?
Yeah,
Jeez, what's going on? Damn.
they honestly, I don't bring up those types of conversations. I kind of just like, I mean, I try to keep it positive. You know what I mean, especially at work. But like, off work, like we went to go eat or something like that. That's when I'll be, you'll hear it in the conversations, like, oh, I can't believe, they'll talk about Kanye, they'll talk about the Kim Kardashian thing, or recently Amber Heard and Johnny Depp situation. Like if we talk about conversations like that, just they'll it's just like once you hear a little bit of what they advocating for, or like, oh, animals shouldn't be in zoos because it infringes on human animal rights. It starts getting into like a political sense of like, oh, so what do you think should be done about it? And their follow question would be something like, no corporations. I was like, okay, you kind of already sense some of the like pro activism, and then even when they talk about, oh, women should be, they talk about their experience, and then they'll still be like, they got a boyfriend and they still having like other guys in the DMs, and they're just chatting for fun, you know. So I was like, okay, this is type of that stuff in America that I was even dealing with. So even with Jamaicans and not Australians, it really depends. But with Jamaicans, so far that I encounter in Japan specifically, yeah, they've to me already been, influenced by Western cultures already. Especially most Jamaicans, they always travel to Miami, like since it's so close.
Hold on,
So on
brother.
holiday, they
Sorry,
they'd go to Miami, and I've been.
brother.
I mean, I've been to Miami for a while.
Sorry, brother. Are you referring to American Jamaicans or actual Japanese Jamaicans, half Japanese, half Jamaican, that grew up in Japan? Or are you referring to Jamaicans
Oh,
from Jamaica
oh, I
itself?
haven't I haven't encountered one yet.
So you're referring to
Yeah,
actual
these are
Jamaicans from
Jamaicans
Jamaica.
from Jamaica.
Yeah, we don't need those chicks, man. I've heard some
Yeah,
things about Jamaican
yeah. I
chicks.
haven't met any. Yeah,
But
I
they're
haven't
definitely
encountered any Jamaican Japanese women yet. Yeah,
okay, brother.
no, you're not
So
wrong.
yeah, we're not on them Jamaican chicks, man. I've heard some horrible stories about Jamaican women. I think they're gone. They're gone for. So brother, let me ask this right now. What's the whole vibe there like in terms of the
Mhm.
culture of Japan? Is Japan a conservative society? Are they pushing back against feminism? I want to know because obviously, if it's becoming westernized,
Mm,
I might keep away from it because I ain't going to another
okay.
westernized country. I'm already dealing enough with enough BS over here in the UK. In Japan, do you feel like is
Yeah.
conservative in Japan? They push and the women there are traditional. Break it down for us, bro.
Yeah, when it comes to conservatism with the women compared to the West, oh yeah, for sure. But once you live here, you kind of see like there's more steps to it. Like in the more country areas or just more less populated cities, they still conservative, but when you're in those country areas, it's more about Japanese, about the Japanese people. So they're really not going to engage with foreign people that much unless you speak. You got to be almost fluent or somewhere in between, to where they really will like interact with you, and then they'll give you a shot, depending on the girl. But they rarely have those family values, and you can find more of that in the countryside. But what I've noticed in the big cities like Tokyo and Yokohama, but this is more about Tokyo. Um, they're less conservative in the sense of what conservatism is in Japan. And basically, that's like, most girls in Japan, black hair, jet black hair, sometimes brown. But in Tokyo, they're a little bit more free about their styles. So you'll have different girls with different hair colors. And to the older Japanese generation, that's like, oh, that's not conservative. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about, like little things like that. But in Tokyo specifically, yeah, there is a small feminist movement, just like when Black Lives Matter was popping off. There's also groups in Tokyo, but it's really the real big cities. And again, I can only on Tokyo because I haven't been to Osaka enough times. Kyoto, less likely because it's more traditional. But I mean I've been to Tokyo more times than any city, and that's where you'll see the signs. Like even if I train, you'll be like, oh, LGBTQ. They're really just more open in Tokyo because of all the influences from Western cultures.
Jesus.
So they're still conservative in the sense of like, they're not going to be, all that. But I'm telling you, when it's the nightlife, some of these girls, they dressing a little bit different, a little bit more flashy, a little bit more exposing. And then some girls are, I mean, I'm starting to see chubby women that are Japanese too, and they're letting it all hang out, just like if it was like Florida, or
Oh,
it was a in America type situation. But you don't see a
oh,
lot. I'm not saying like it's not like in the West where you'd see like at least 15 every 20 minutes or something. But um, don't be surprised if you see one or two in the train station or when you're going to some of the izakayas, some of the bars, pubs. Like you'll see it. But in the sense of other countries, if they're conservative, they're more conservative than any other countries I've been to. But at the same time, they are being influenced, but it's not to the level of what's going on in America or the UK, or and other countries like that. It's not as extreme. It's still kind of quiet to themselves. But some of these girls on these dating apps, if you read some of their profiles, those are westernized ideals, and some of them they adopted it. Like, oh, I don't
oh,
cook. I won't make your lunch. You know, and I usually just
pause,
skip. I was like, next.
pause, brother, pause. Brother, you telling me in Japan right now, you got Japanese women stating on their dating apps that they don't cook? What? What's going on there? Not even
Yeah,
Western women are doing that kind of jazz. I mean, they don't cook, obviously, but they're not letting you know that they don't cook. At least they lie about it. You telling me that Japanese women are telling you on the dating apps that they don't cook? What the flip is going on right now in Japan right now,
yeah.
bro?
Well, to explain on that, like most conservative women, like the man always working. He's always out. He comes home. Most Japanese traditions is that you always make them lunch. So you always make their food, take care of the house, make dinner. Like that's a routine. Like, and I've seen that a lot with the conservative or traditional Japanese women. It's not something you ask them to do. It's something that they already know to do because that's what their moms taught them. Like it's something that is expected. So in these dating apps that are looking for more Japanese people versus foreigners, they'll have it in their profiles and say, look, don't expect me to cook for you. And usually those women are like these women that are kind of been treated like queens their whole lives. You know what I mean? Almost like sugar baby level. Because you could tell, like, oh, they got the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton. Like, you could tell just on the profile that they really bougie already. But they already state that, saying, "Don't expect me. You better treat me like a queen." And then some profiles I'll see like, "Hey, I'm looking for this, but I'm looking for other LGBT friends." And
What?
so they just been more open. That's what I'll say. That Japan over the last couple of years, from what I've been watching and learning, and especially like with YouTube contents where people interview Japanese people, especially, and this is with the younger crowd, they're more open. These Generation Z, they're more open versus the old way of Japanese people and their way of thinking. So it's been a change, but it's like it's very slow, especially in the government. Like even today, on one of those like Line is like one of those like Facebook Messenger apps, and they have like forums, like people where they talk. And one Japanese guy was saying how, oh, the Japanese government never listens to the young people, which is pretty much true. And young people are starting to take control. We make more money. We want to start changing these rules. So very kind of like progressive thinking on just changing the way the country is going, and especially in Tokyo, where Tokyo is the number one city that I believe has the most Western culture, like Westernized ideas, the way people act. That's definitely Tokyo.
Ah, okay, brother. A lot to digest there. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into my next question there. I think that's a very good point there. You made there about what's happening in Japan currently. A lot of nonsense, but we'll get to the weed of things. Brother,
Mhm.
how are women treating you directly, brother? Are they checking for you? Are you getting play by the women there, by the dating apps in real life? Are they giving you play? Are they giving you choosing signals, brother?
Mhm.
All in all, brother, are they checking for you right there, brother in Japan? Are they checking for you?
So here's the thing with that. So they are checking because you'll see them look. That's for sure. Some of them will give you the sign, and the way you get the sign is when they start speaking English or they say hello. Like that is
Hello,
always the clear case of like,
hello,
okay, this girl's interested.
hello, hello.
Hello,
Sorry,
hello,
bro.
or
Hello,
hi, or like they usually have like a high pitched voice of hi or hello.
hello.
And you could tell they I don't know, like some people could tell, but when you look at in a woman's eye, you can kind of tell like, okay, you interested. Some, but in terms of my experience so far, yeah, they looking. But in the countryside, because if I'm in the city, oh yeah, some of them will come up and say, "Oh, so cool," or they'll say it in Japanese, like, "Oh,
Good
like
point.
kukoi," yeah, like they say, "Oh, and like, and they're with their home girls, and like they usually, they'll say it, but they'll like walk away type of thing, or like, so like I usually have to like approach, always start the conversation. But the biggest thing I've noticed in terms of getting played that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about as much when it comes to Japan is that a lot of women and just people in general, they're scared to talk to you. So if you ever feel like you're getting ignored or this and that, it might not always be the case. It's more like people are scared to show their English skills. Because I literally had a girl, like I was texting back and forth. Once she found out, I was like, "Oh, your Japanese is really good." And I said, "Oh no, my Japanese, da da da, it's not any good." She was like, "What?" So I was like, "Oh no, I'm just translating certain things." She's like, "Done." Like I haven't heard back or nothing. Like, and that's just on one because for me, I'm doing everything. I'm doing cold approach. I'm trying to, get a wider net. So I'm like, okay, I'll do some dating apps here and there, but then I'm also out in the city doing my thing. And most of the time, it's that people are scared to even speak English. Even so, it's like that's why you kind of have to get your Japanese up just a little bit to make them feel more comfortable to where, all right, let me at least engage with you. But most of the time, like they'll just assume like, oh, they'll wave hello, they'll look you up and down, and they just kind of just, I guess, keep their distance at some point. But that's what I've encountered so far. So they are checking. It's just they're really scared to even say one word. And so you really have to, and that's what I'm working on, is trying to like break the ice and kind of just open that line of communication. Because once they get nervous and flustered that they can't speak, they just kind of not like run away, but they just want the conversation to end and kind of just like take the experience like, oh yeah, this foreigner talked to me, it was cool, but like that's it. So it's just something that I got to work on. But yeah, I've been noticing that, when the women out here.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Um, so is there a special woman that you have your eyes on that you're working on getting her, brother? We want to know I know you've only been there for a couple of weeks now, but
Uh,
how's like are you chasing after a chick right now?
yeah,
What's going on with you, bro?
actually, there's this one girl. She's like big into hip hop. I don't know about
Japanese.
all those. Yeah, Japanese.
How old is she?
Um, was 26, I think.
Okay.
26. But look, some of these girls look younger than like than what they really look like. But yeah, I think she said like 26. But she was just, into, hip hop. And I think this is another thing about the culture is that how Japanese people make friends with each other is having a hobby or something like that connects them. Just like how in their society, like school clubs are very important. That's how they kind of build friends. Like you have to have a common interest. And once they know that common interest, that's when they're willing to talk to you. That's when they really want to open up and get a little bit closer. And literally, that, talking to her today, I was like, "Oh, did you listen to this song? Have you heard of, like kind of 90s like R&B rap or in some hip hop songs?" She's like, "Oh, that's cool." And we just went back and forth. So there's one I'm kind of, checking out, seeing how things go. It's still kind of new. And I try to keep my expectations low because with Japanese girls, they're never going to tell you how they feel
Mm.
unless you're on some real close stuff. Like they're really one, you could be having this dope, conversation. Next moment, oh, I'm busy working, and that's your sign to be like, oh, she's not interested, but she's not going to tell me no. Like these girls do not want to be rude. So to not be rude, they either stop texting you, send in one word replies, or just kind of, oh, I'm sorry, busy, and just, and for me, I'm not gonna waste my time. There's like thousands of other girls that are gonna take a shot with, especially being with a foreigner or with just a black man in general. And there's other people you can connect with. So, but right now, that's this chick is pretty cool. Like I love the slim body, very petite, but the style. That's what I kind of noticed with her was the style. Very cool, very different, but still like kind of in a conservative way. And trust me, when you go to Tokyo, Yokohama, there's a baddie everywhere you go. That's how I feel.
Damn.
Like they're dressed up so cute. Like that's the thing in Japan. There's two things that you'll know about Japan. Everything is small, and that goes for the drinks, food. Everything is small, and then everything is really cute. So they'll even have like pottery that looks pretty cute, or just the women in general. They take care of themselves. Some of them get their nails done, they get their hair done, and they're not going anywhere special, but they have this image they have to always upkeep. And so when you see them outside doing their, either shopping, that's where you see a lot of the cute girls is when you're at the grocery store. And that's where you keep talking with them. But also just going to the park or at the cafes. Oh my God. Like you see some of them just like they got the right shoes on. And maybe I'm just noticing like just how well put together they are. Cause some girls in the West, sweatpants, hair bun, and a hoodie. Okay. Like Like that
Sugar.
doesn't show me anything about your personality. You know what I mean? But with their
Yeah.
style, you could kind of tell a little bit more. And honestly, it just gives me more of like something of like an icebreaker for me to say. Like, oh, I really mess with that hat or that scarf, because some of them look like they're going to be idols or they go into like just a good, I don't even know, but just somewhere where you got to look sharp. And man, sometimes even, and that's crazy, even some of the guys, they looking sharp like they're going to an event or something, and it's just their day to day. It motivates me to be like, man, I can't be looking sloppy out here. I'm not letting this man
So, brother,
show
let me
me.
ask you this, man.
So,
So that chick that you kind of are
mhm,
looking to, get to know her more. How did you
mhm.
meet her? Was it through online dating, or did you cold approach her?
uh, I actually met her on Tinder. So
Okay.
yeah, so far, but because of my local area, my Japanese has to be like on a higher level than what it is. But when you go to the city, like in the clubs, they'll some of these girls will come up to you. But what I've noticed is that they'll be
Ooh.
Filipina. They'll be Filipina, or they'll be some type of other Asian, like from Thailand or Cambodia. And but that's the thing, you kind of have to be careful of those types of women because they always have like an agenda. You know what I mean? In Filipinas, their English is real good. So if you ever see somebody who's like Asian and they're Japanese, I mean, their English is really good, they might be Filipino. And again, some of them do still have those values, just because the Philippines still has like, Christian values and kind of like they're more family oriented. But some, they're just there for fun. Others, they got their own little agenda, but some of them are, they after your money, especially when you go to certain like parts of like certain clubs where they'll because I don't know if you ever played the game Yakuza, but in Yokohama, you know how like there's always a guy in a suit, and you don't know if they're Yakuza or not. Most likely they not, but like they look like shady club promoters, and they're always like, "Yo, come to my bar, come to don't do it." That's just a tip because really they're just gonna set you up, overcharge you, overprice you. And some of those girls, they from overseas. They're not even Japanese. And for me, I really want a Japanese girl, just like that was born in Japan. Like that's kind of like that's where my mind's at. If you're mixed Japanese, it's like okay, but like I didn't fly. Same thing with the foreign girls that be trying to hit. It's like I didn't fly thousands of miles to go date a white girl. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I came here for Japanese and Asian women in general. Like I didn't, I didn't, take that trip just so I would have stayed back home and get me a white girl, and even then, they're gonna be overweight. That's just the reality that most women are just gonna be overweight, and then the ones who do take care of themselves, they got too many options already. So, and that was an issue too in the states where you option number 9 out of 200, and a girl really actually told me that like, oh, you're really option number 9. I was like, nah, I'm not an option. So but that's something that's going on in the West because of dating apps are becoming more of the norm, and women, they can literally just put one picture and get thousands of likes, thousands of hits. It's just what it is right now. So
Damn. Um, this is crazy intel, brother. So I'm gonna read the super chats.
mhm.
Um, hold on, bro. Uh, hold on, bro. All right, let me read a couple of super chats. All right. Shout out to this is crazy. Yo, this brother came. Jesus, these Japanese girls are, God. God damn it, Tommy. Tommy, Jesus Christ. Look at this chick. All right, hold on, brothers. Sorry, brothers. It's a side talk happening. Shout out to Mr. Jeremy Sears for the $5 super chat. What's up, Jeremy Sears? Regular supporter. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Gentlemen, hit the like button, please. Yes, indeed, brothers. Please hit the like button. Brothers, please. Support the channel, hit the cash app, hit the Patreon. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you to Jeremy Sears for the $5 super chat. Legendary brother, Hall of Fame brother, definitely, man, on this channel. I appreciate a lot, Jeremy. Thank you, man. Shout out to Ice Waldy for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. Mr. Ice, and much appreciation, brother. I'm a fellow DMV resident, got my passport in 2019, changed my life forever, went to Kenya, next up Asia. Awesome, brother. Mr. Ice Waldy, reach out to me on IG. I'd love to hear your experience regarding Kenyan women. My IG is in the live stream comment sections below. Okay, thank you, brother. Much appreciation to you, Ice Waldy. Thank you, man. Mr. Jonathan Hahn, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, bro. You don't want to hear this man sing, get the likes up. Yes, indeed, brothers. Please hit the like button, or the singing will start. Hit the like button or the singing will start. Okay, I might sing that new Kendrick. That new Kendrick, man, that's got me lost for words, man. I don't know what to say about that album. Shout out to Jeremy Sears for the $5 super chat. The likes are free. Yes, indeed, brother, the likes are free. So please hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, brothers. Appreciate you, brother. Wody, send me a DM on IG so I know it's you, brother, and then we'll speak on Saturday, okay, bro? Shout out to Mr. Thomas Demihin, the legend. Thank you, Thomas. Another Hall of Fame member on the channel. Patreon member too. Appreciate you, Thomas, for the £1.79 super chat. Aisha Toshigi equals Ghanaian Japanese Miss Japan 2020. Yes, beautiful half black, half Japanese woman. I hope one day I meet my half black, half Japanese queen. And whatever happens, happens, shout out to you, Thomas. Thank you, brother. Let me put you on mute, DS. Making some noise in the background. Shout out to Mr. Moonwalker84 for the $199 super chat. You give us brothers hope every day, IP. Oh, thank you, brother, man. Those are some very kind, powerful words. That means a lot to me, man. I'm going to keep giving you brothers these classics. I'm going to keep working late. And all I ask for you, brothers, is to please hit the super chats, hit the cash apps, like the video. Just support me, man. Almost 7 years doing this on the channel, giving you brothers hardcore intel that I personally changed many brothers' lives throughout the years. Okay, so all you can do is make sure you hit the super chats, donate to the channel, hit the cash apps. YouTube takes a 30% cut of all super chats, so please feel free to also hit the cash apps too. Support me, support the movement. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you for the kind words, Moonwalker84. Much love, brother. Mr. Jeremy Sears, man, I appreciate you, bro, for the $25 super chat. Thank you, brother, for another the fourth super chat from Jeremy tonight. Much love to you, brother. Appreciate it, bro. Already a classic stream IP. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shout out to DS for his insight in Japan already. And shout out to you, Jeremy Sears, for your love and support. It means a lot to me, brother. It really does. I've got a couple cash apps real quick I need to read out. Shout out to Mr. Nate Cali, my mod, Hall of Fame member. I appreciate you, Nate Cali, for the £2.21 cash app. Hit the like, super chat, and join the Patreon, brothers. If you're not part of the Patreon, you're missing out. We have explicit streams regarding Japanese women, and I'll be dropping the explicit stream for South Korean women next week, only on the Patreon Diamond tier. So make sure you join the Patreon Diamond tiers, okay, brother? Support the channel, support the movement. Thank you, Nate Kelly. Shout out to Mr. Conrad Grant, legend, another Hall of Fame member, for the £1.63 cash app. Hi, IP, blessings, fam. Support on the stream, love. Yes, indeed. Hey, appreciate you, Conrad Grant. Thank you, bro. Much love and support, brother. It means a lot to me. Shout out to Mr. John Thomas, another Hall of Fame member, also mod as well on the channel for the £4.07 cash app. Thank you, bro. Thanks for the stream IP. No, brother, thank you as well for the cash app, man. Means a lot to me, brother. Thank you, thank you. So DS, man, this has been another great insight regarding Japanese women. DS. So before I open up the phone lines, what would you say have been the positive and the negative parts in your experience in Japan so far? You're on mute, brother. Let me unmute you. Yeah, go on, bro.
Uh, so you're asking about the more positive
Yeah.
things about
So I want
Japan?
to know positive and negative parts about Japan so far that you feel is important to tell brothers.
Oh yeah. Well, the number one thing that's positive is definitely the food is real cheap. You can eat it. I mean, if you like Japanese food, this is the place to be, or just Asian cuisine in general. Because I know back home, Japanese food is something you'll probably have like once a month, maybe like like some maybe twice in a month, but like it's very expensive. Just for like something small, like you might be paying 15, $20, $30. And then if you go to like hibachi or just Japanese steakhouse, I mean, you already going 50, $100 already. But here in Japan, I mean, since it's pretty much the norm, I think that's what I really like, that I can get cheap meals real quick if I need to, like if I'm in a rush, even like quick breakfast, like at the Combini, like 7-Eleven, Lawson's, Family Mart, or if I just need a nice good meal, like it's even crazy. Some of the Indian food is pretty good, cheap, and you getting a lot for what you pay for. So that's something that I really like. Also, it's beautiful over here. You see a lot of good mountains. Like, certain places in America you might not get that, but in Japan you're more in tune with nature. So there's a lot of waterfalls in certain areas. But I just like how they take care of the place. Even some of the cities are like not as dirty as any other American cities I've been to. And another positive thing is that people are willing to help you. That's the good thing. Like if you like, even with the police or like, they ain't gonna beat you down. They're actually there to help you. And even just customer service and stuff like that. I've seen people jump off, around a corner off, from a counter just to like, oh, let me pick this up for you. I dropped like literally the equivalent of like 5 cents in yen. Like it just fell out of my pocket, which I was gonna pick up anyway. The dude next to me literally rushes to grab it before I do, and he's like, Here you go." I was like, "Thanks," because a lot of people they're very helpful, and if they see that something happened, like, I mean, I've been chased down because I dropped a receipt. These two girls come up to me and say, "Hey, oh, you dropped," you know, in their best broken English. I was like, "Oh, this is," it's something you don't think about because it's like that's useless to me. I was gonna throw that away anyway. But people in Japan are very helpful, and they're very accommodating at times of like your situation, and they'll literally try to figure out, even if they don't even know English, they'll talk to the other coworker and they're like, "What is he talking about? What?" But that's the thing I really like is that if you need help, there's always going to be somebody close by that's willing to take that chance and try to help you to the best of their ability. But when it comes to things that I don't like about Japan, the number one thing is paperwork. There's so much paperwork just to get into Japan, and even just setting things up when it could have just been easily done online or a simple document or just digitized. They really old school with it, so there's a lot of paperwork. And then even when you go through immigration, there's always a step. Like, all right, check your passport. There'll be like five people right next to each other. One person checks it, the next person checks it. I'm like, well, you just saw mine. Why are nope. And then you go to another line of another line just to check the same paperwork, just to get one stamp. And if you didn't get that one stamp, you're gonna have to go. Like, they're very particular about certain things. And that's another thing. Japanese people will not tell you directly what you did wrong. And then you literally have to find out on your own what you did wrong because they won't tell you. Like, for example, my school computer, I left it on my desk. Everything was neat. But the next day, it was in my like literally inside my desk instead of on top of it. And that's just a little sign to tell you that all laptops have to be put away in a storage. It can't be left on top of your desk. Or another thing is that Japanese people, like, oh, you did great. Sometimes they don't really mean what they say. Just to have there's a saying. I'm trying to remember the saying, but basically your personal self versus your fake self in a way, where in public they have this image of, oh, I'm very polite, nice. They won't tell you what they don't like, and so they try to do like little things to kind of like for you to get the hint. So that's another thing is that Japanese people are not very direct. So a lot of the times you kind of have to figure out what's going on. They won't tell you. They just kind of expect you to figure that out. And sometimes that might happen with certain women you might talk to, where if you're not like if you're used to like okay, communication, direct, um, you might find some women like that, but I've been noticing so far, a lot of women, some people would call it playing games, but really you gotta it is kind of like a game because you would literally have to figure out um and kind of read the sign, kind of read the air of what's going on, even in your situation when you're outside as well, dealing with people. So that's one thing I dislike is that people are not really upfront or kind of tell you like, okay, this ain't. It's literally no, 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 or oh, and they don't want to explain it to you because most of the time they can't even explain it to you. They're just like, no, no. So sometimes it's just like, hey, why? If you get a lot of foreign people and you encounter it, why not have something in English? And seriously, like when I was getting my bike, and getting a bike is a whole different process. You have to register your bike. It's like going to a car dealership just to get a bike here. And basically, he actually printed out stuff in English for me to read about, like, okay, you need this insurance when you get this bike. And then even at the train station, one guy, he was like, you know what? Screw this. He got what's it called? Translator, like a pocket translator, and just like took the time to translate everything what he was saying. So I mean that's a good thing, but I'm just saying like uh it's too much paperwork, man. I think they're overdoing it, and then they just stay to the old ways because of the older generation. And so breaking out of those old ways is something what the young people are trying to do, and so they're even encountering struggles with that. So far, those are the things that I've encountered that just makes life a little bit harder. It's not something that's gonna destroy your experience, but that's something I've noticed, like, now starting to live here versus, "Oh, I'm on vacation." You can pretty much ignore most of that. So that's why they kinda treat you like a tourist versus like a citizen or a person that's like, "Oh, you live here." So
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that, brother.
mhm.
Shout out to Mr. Tavares Thompson for the $10 super chat. What's up, Tavares? Not seen your name here before, so if you're new to the channel, welcome, brother. I just did my passport, inspiring digital nomad. Thanks, IP. No problem, brother. No problem. I'm happy the channel is helping you out. Much love and appreciation to you, Tavares. Thank you, brother, and welcome to the channel. Shout out to Mr. Tavares Thompson again for the $10 super chat. He says, are you planning on doing a live stream with 1MT in the future? I love your Portugal video. Got it on repeat. Who knows, brother? Who knows? Maybe it could happen, maybe not, but currently not. But it could happen in the future, bro. But I appreciate you, brother, for the super chat. Thank you, brother. So before I open up the phone lines, brothers, I strongly advise you, brothers, to join the Patreon. If you want to hear explicit intel regarding how women are in the bedroom, you want one-to-one IT consultation. If you want to join our Discord server, our Facebook group, I would say join the Patreon. The videos are very explicit, a lot of swearing, and we go very deep into how women are in the bedroom. You know, explicit version, X-rated. So join the Patreon, brothers. Um, I would say also follow me on Instagram and send me a DM on Instagram if you have any questions. I'll get back to you on that. Bear in mind that the more questions you ask, the more I will point you to my Patreon, because if you're part of the Patreon tiers, you have access to me unlimited on the Patreon diamonds. Yeah. Um, Here's a link to my Facebook group. Send your request in. I'm currently taking new members. Um, it'll be quicker for you if you join the Patreon. Um, just join the Patreon to get into the Facebook group. Here is my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Send me a DM on Twitter, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Um, and here's my Cash App, brothers. That's open 24/7, 365. Send through your Cash App any day of the week. That'd be greatly appreciated. You will now see that under my videos, I've enabled a new feature called Super Thanks. So if you're watching any of my videos in the past, live or uploaded or recorded, doesn't matter what video, there should be an icon called Super Thanks. You can donate any amount of money to any video that you enjoyed in the past. So if you enjoyed my Germany video from a couple years ago, or my Sweden video from a couple years ago, or Morocco or Portugal, feel free to send in donations via the Super Thanks on any video or those videos that you watched. Okay. So I will now open up the phone lines. Please be respectful to our guest. If not, you will be dealt with. Okay. We're all adults here. So call in, brothers, and let's have a good discussion. Please keep your questions relevant to the live stream topic. Ask about Japan, ask about the brother's experience there in Japan or in America. If you can't call in, then you must cash app or super chat your questions. Okay, let's get it, man. Let's get it, man. All right, awesome, awesome. All right, so let me pin the StreamYard link. Okay, call in, brothers. Yes, man, we did it again, bro. Classic.
Yeah, that's great, man. I always like these classic streams where we get the most information we need, man. And it's been helping me. Like I had to rewatch some of your older videos just to look through my notes and say, you know what, okay, I got to do this. I got to look out for this. And it's honestly, it's been helpful, especially just navigating which cities are going to be like, where people are looking for foreign people. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. You know, I've got a video in the past about Japan where to go to if you're looking for a wife or woman with a low body count. And it's in the comment section where our host listed very good locations. So you can't go any wrong with that. So Michael Lawrence, can you turn your camera on in the background, please? Yep, you're confirmed. Turn it off, please. Let me bring in Mr. Michael Lawrence. And brothers, in the meantime, can we please support the channel? Can we please hit the cash apps and super chats? We got over 70 people watching. Every time I watch Fresh and Fit, a bunch of brothers are always supporting the channel. Every time I watch Steph is Cold support or free agent lifestyle, always got support. So please support me, okay? I am the solution to the horrible woman that you see out here in America and in the West. So please support the channel. Let me bring in Michael Lawrence. What's going on, Michael? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, IP?
All good, brother. All good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you too, brother. Do you have any questions for our guests regarding the live stream topic, brother?
Yeah. I've been thinking. Were there the dangers in any parts of Japan, and any dangers that we brothers need to be concerned about, like like
Mm,
the crime rates and everything.
gotcha. Yeah. Honestly, just being a foreigner and just being black in general in Japan, you don't have anything to really worry about, except for maybe two things. But most of the time, like Japanese people have a way of keeping foreigners out of it because it's a Japanese problem. And so most of the time they won't bother you or hassle you. Like you're pretty much left alone. Like this is one of the safest countries so far that I've been in because it don't matter what time it is. I see women at night, like it'd be like 3 a.m. just walking in a dark, shady area. It's literally one of the safest countries. But one of the most like, and most when I say danger, it's more like shadiness is gonna be in the red light district. And again, I've been to Tokyo more times, but it's literally the Kabuchu district, so Shinjuku red light district. And the people that will bother you the most are other Nigerians. Uh, I don't know if you're how familiar you are with the Nigerian kind of scammers in Kabucho,
Oh my God.
but I mean, when I was there last week, I literally got out of my hotel and I was just, cruising, just kind of like looking for like a good bar. And literally this guy, and they're always older Africans, and they'll literally go up to you and be like, hey, come to my bar, help. Literally what he told me was help a brother out, help a brother out. Come to my bar, this and that. Well, where you going? And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. And I keep walking. He keeps following me. And he's like, come on now, da da da. But in Japan, I mean, no Japanese dude is gonna do that. And even in Yokohama, like it's honestly I wouldn't say dangerous because nobody's gonna pull a knife on you or even a gun unless you're in those, like, if you ever get to that point, you should, first off, they won't even let you near it because the Yakuza, they're not what they used to be. So everybody works low key. Nobody wants any problems because it messes up with business. And the last thing they want is a foreigner on the news. So that's why you don't hear about foreigners on the news because they never want to talk about foreigners. They never want to talk about the problems unless recently, well, actually a couple months ago, like one girl got detained. And honestly, the biggest worries of Japan is getting locked up by the immigration. The detention centers, from what I hear, they starved that one girl to death. It's worse than jail. But yeah, if you break any type of law or get arrested, since Japan has a 99% conviction rate, and how they do that is they make you confess the crime. Legally, the Japanese police and the government can keep you in jail for 27 days. And then they can extend it because they can ask the courts to extend it. And then they can the longest story of somebody being detained without breaking a crime or being charged with anything was 2 years. But by that point, you already lost your job. If you get arrested, not only do you lose your job, but you also lose your apartment. So just getting even if you didn't even commit a crime and and even if they can't even charge you, they can still hold you for about 17 to 20 days and then even ask for an extension until you confess. But then by that point, I mean, these are rare cases, but the biggest dangers is that foreigners get locked up for is drugs. And there's a drug that's a marijuana K2 like mixture. It's called spice. So if you ever hear spice in Japan, they're talking about like K2 marijuana, where it's very dangerous. It's not like normal marijuana, so you can die from this. Because it's kind of like synthetic. It's a synthetic marijuana, but that's the number one crime that you're gonna be. I mean, for foreigners, because they'll, being a foreigner, like, oh, you want some weed, you gotta stay away from all of it because it could be a little crime. Like, because the guy who was locked up for 2 years was accused of stealing something at a convenience store. He never stole anything, but they still took 2 years of his life. So just to recap, literally Shinjuku, Kabuchu, the red light district, it's literally other foreigners that are going to bother you. And in Yokohama, it was Filipinos because they wanted me to go into like this Filipino stripper bar, like girls' bars.
What in the world?
I'm not interested in Filipinas because my mind is like, no, if she's not Japanese, I don't want to talk to you. But they were trying to drag me into bars, and that's kind of like if somebody has to drag you into a bar or brother, please, like that's how you know it's like, nah, I shouldn't even be there because you begging me to come into your place. So that's pretty much the biggest dangers is like shady areas. But the best way to avoid it is just to keep walking. Keep walking, ignore the guy in the suit trying to tell you this. Oh, that's your best bet. And that's what I did. And I didn't have any problems. But for me, I do get annoyed by it because it's like you're bothering my experience. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're just in my face you're trying to sell me something that I don't want, and you're not really trying to help me out. And so some of these brothers will use the pity card and be like, "Come on, man, you can't help a brother out." And I mean, I don't want to hear all that. So, that's literally what I've encountered.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
Is that it, Michael?
Oh, one last thing. So
Okay.
yeah, one last thing.
Okay.
So yeah, you mentioned about the women are being conservative, and like they try to is the feminist movement are trying to take over Japan. That's what is the feminist movement are trying to brainwash younger women into act to act like Western women are. Are there is there any change significantly in I mean worldwide in the whole Japan?
In terms of Japan, like
People
it's not significantly. To be real with you, it's not. But has there been movements and a little talks here and there? Yes. But Japan is very slow to change, even with these new ideas. So it's only like majority of the country. That's not they're going to be really conservative still.
okay.
And then sometimes they'll be a little bit different if they're close to you, like in private. But in terms of like to give you an example, it's just the younger people might be a little bit different, but not that much because they still want to fit in and still be part of the culture. And in Japan, they don't want to ever stick out and be like the odd one out. But it's still conservative because even when I got here and I had my handlers trying to help me, like, get all my paperwork in order, like these older women, they're like, oh, since I was the man, like, if I was in America, I wouldn't have to open the door or like carry heavy stuff because they'll get offended. But in Japan, the Japanese women will look to me and say, "Oh, can you lift this up? I can't do it." So they're very still feminine, where it's like, "Oh," and little things like that. Those are brownie points. They really do love that. Because all they do is just give you the look. You take care of it. You save the day. And yeah, no, but it's only in the very big cities, and it's a still small minority with this feminist stuff. But
Okay.
there are talks, there are groups, but nothing like what it is in America or the UK, where it's in your face. You better recognize. Don't talk to me like it's not like that at all. But it's very small group still.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Michael.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Let me bring in Mr. Thomas Demihan. Hey, Thomas. How you doing, brother?
Hi, good evening, bro. How are you? Oh,
I'm all good, brother. How are you? You heard a new Kendrick album?
not yet, bro. I'll listen to it during the weekend.
You're gonna be shocked, bro. I'm gonna say that right now. No spoilers, but you're gonna be shocked. But welcome back, Thomas, man. It's good to hear your voice, bro.
Awesome, bro. Uh, Forgive me, brother. I forgot your name.
You could call me DS.
Okay, cool. Brother Diaz, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing okay. I'm for me, it's Saturday, so I'm just enjoying my Saturday.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Saturday midnight in the UK. It's
Mm.
currently 3:36 a.m.
Oh
So
shoot. Okay.
yeah. uh, so brother, in
Mhm.
your in, in your travels, are Japanese women, in your opinion, the chosen women?
Uh, well, I mean, I have a bias, obviously, but you know what? Japanese women, I just like how their attitude. It's very
Mm,
respectful
mm,
compared to like, and for me, when I was like high school, I used to be the like, oh, I'll take. I'm like, Mr. Worldwide. They're like, oh, get Colombian, Canadian, like. I just want to, because every girl is different type of thing. But I've always noticed that like Japanese women, because even when I was in Hong Kong, I mean, Chinese women, and it's true, Chinese people are rude. They're
Yes.
louder. They
Yes.
are rude, and how they treat people in China, way different than what the Japanese do. The Japanese people are very respectful, and they always try to be polite and try to be helpful no matter what. The type of kindness I've been treated in Japan versus China, what totally different. And when I was, messing with the girls in Hong Kong, yeah, they're still low key, but they still act like, like any other hoe would, or, you know, they're open, but like it's more different than the West. They're just a little bit more low key, but they out there. They'll ask you to come into a room, do this, and you know, there's been times where I've taken that offer, but you do what you got to do. But with Japanese women, it's there's a process, you know. And so far, I haven't met a Japanese girl that was like, all right, let's do it on the first date, or like I haven't encountered that just yet. But a lot of the Japanese women that I've been meeting or talking to, it's they hold themselves at a higher like level. How they keep their appearance, how the world views them. So to answer your question, are they the chosen? I mean, with Japanese and Latinas, I mean, I'm kind of split because my family's from Puerto Rico. So listening to Spanish from, like my like mother tongue in a way, like it's more familiar. But with Japanese girls, man, I'm telling you, when you come to Japan, the biggest everybody looks cute. I was like, damn, she looked good. And it's because they keep themselves well fit. And these girls have this high social pressure to kind of like, if they catch you slipping, you're a little bit overweight, they really gonna go into you. And I know for a fact Chinese women, they do that. They don't care. They'll call you fat. I've had Chinese women call me fat, and I'm pretty slim. Like in America, I'm like, oh, skinny. In China, they were calling me fat. Some of these girls be like, oh, you're fat. I'm like, you haven't seen real fat. Like,
You're fat shaming.
yeah, none of that stuff. But yeah, no, Chinese women are way different than the Japanese women, and you already know that. But it chosen, they up there. That's for sure.
Ooh. Oh, brother. Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
You see Japanese women. What make
Do I
you
see?
see? You see no, hold on. You see Japanese women, brother.
Mhm.
Is it what makes them the chosen women? Is it because of their humbleness, their serenity,
Mhm.
their respectfulness? Because they're very conservative, and the way they talk to you. Is it that
Mhm.
unconditional femininity?
It's everything. But the main point is that I like how they treat their man. I like how they
Mm,
treat the people, their husbands, the kids. I just like how they treat family and how they respect you. They don't talk back to you. Um, they don't like getting into arguments, because some of the friends I just met that I started, other foreigners that have been kind of helping me around. Like I have a friend in Tokyo. His wife, I mean, I can't wait to eat with their family, but basically it's so they respect your time, they respect your hobbies, because he likes making videos, making content, and his wife will leave him alone until, oh no, that's your time. But they always find a time to do things together. It's that the harmony like in a relationship that's kind of different, where in America there'll always be some arguing, and
mm, mm.
they'll say everybody has their own issues. But with Japanese women, and just the way they have things structured, is that they respect the person they love, and they're accommodating. They're always willing to work with you. Like they'll do the little things. Like one, I feel like I don't know if kids in America would do this, but like my first week of school, this little girl comes up to me and she shows me her origami like rose that she made. And like yesterday, she comes and finds me, and she gives me this, like, she makes these little samurai warrior origami figures, like out of paper, literally. And you're supposed to, like, you've probably heard the game, like where you tap the desk to keep them moving until like one of them falls over. And she made it just for me, and just gave me a gift.
Bro,
Like,
Japanese women are the chosen women, bro.
yeah, and these are just a little girl. So I just imagine, a full grown woman, and from what I've been hearing, when you get a Japanese wife, is that they're here to serve you, and they want to take care of you. And I know
So,
Latino women can do that too, but Japanese
yeah.
women are on another level
So,
when it comes
brother,
to a firm.
did you feel like a shogun when when a Japanese woman was respecting you? A shogun.
Oh, I mean,
You know
I
what? You know
want to
what?
say,
You know what
yeah,
shogun
yeah,
is, right?
I know what a shogun is. They like, for an example, like when I was at the post office, they use honorifics, like,
Mm,
san, or, so like the ultimate honor, like the best honorific you can get is sama,
mm,
Osama.
mm.
And she literally, at the post office, she calls my name to say that all the paperwork is ready. And she's like, oh, blah, 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 sama. And I heard that, and you only time you hear that is if you're at like at a 5-star hotel, or like the beat called sama. It's like the top of respect, like a shogun or an emperor would get. And so certain places will call you that, but again, it's like it's not common,
Mm.
but that's how you show ultimate respect. And she calls my name, with that honorific, and then she hands me, and I don't know, like this has been a few times, but she hands me like a foil wrapping paper, like for food, with a bag and everything as a gift. I was like, that's very odd. Nobody hands me like kitchen, supplies, but they always want to give you a gift in certain places. Because even when the guy came to turn my gas on and like the power, he gives me toilet paper. That's not something that's common from where I'm from. But they're like, oh, here's the company's toilet paper. We give it to you as like a home warming gift, right? So I was like, so the bank gives me, kitchen supplies, and then the random gas guy gives me a toilet paper present, like, and it's all wrapped up, in a box and everything. So you're like, oh, what's in it? Toilet paper. Um, but that just shows like Japanese people, and I had to ask the people that were helping me come here. I was like, is this normal? Should I give something back? And they're like, oh, no, 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 no. It's a gift. Like, it'd be disrespectful if I gave them something back.
Damn.
Like at the same time. But yeah, that's for sure,
What,
man. Like,
brother? Have you been to Osaka?
I've been to Osaka one time, and that was like for maybe 6 hours. So I do plan going back and staying longer because now I have the time for it. But Osaka is one of those places where I was only there for a short time, and I wasn't there for a couple of days.
Uh,
So yeah,
I, was,
but I hear it's pretty good.
I wanted to ask because when I was on YouTube just watching a lot of Japanese videos and I saw a lot of Japanese black women. So I just wanted to
Mm.
ask you. I just wanted to ask you about that, bro.
Mm.
Did you
I,
see, besides Osaka? Did you see any mixed Japanese black women?
Last
Mixed?
question, Thomas.
yeah, I did see one on a train because it's easy to pick out like Japanese like Blasians because of the curly hair.
Okay.
Like really, it's the curly hair that really points it out. And I do see a few, but like, I mean, they're very hard to come by as far as from where I've been going to. But most of the time, I really see Japanese and white, Japanese and some type of Spanish, where whether it's I've seen like Colombians, like
Ooh.
Japanese Colombians, but it's not
Ooh.
like they're full figured women. Like they got more of the Japanese genetics.
Okay.
And then I've also seen the Japanese Brazilians, but I haven't seen any of the bad ones. Like I've been seeing kind of like the average, you know what I mean? So it's like nothing really special to talk about, but I have seen like I said in the bigger cities like Tokyo and Yokohama, I do see the mix. And it's always either mixed with a different type of Asian or because you could just kind of tell like, oh, you're not 100% Japanese. You're Japanese with a little bit of this or and I kind of seen it, but you do see a lot of Japanese white. But maybe when I go to Osaka, that might change my perspective. So
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome,
Thanks,
bro.
Thomas. I'll come back
Thanks,
to you
bro.
afterwards, bro. I just need to go through another caller. Ninja55, can you turn your camera on in the background, please? Just so I know you're not a troll. Thank you, bro. Confirm, turn it off, please. Shout out to Ro Harris for the $5 super chat. Keep on doing what you're doing, IP. Thank you for the kind words, Ro Harris. Much appreciation to you, brother. Thank you, bro. Much love, brother. Shout out to Mr. Matt Battle for the $4.99 super chat. Thomas is right. They are the chosen ones. I'm cracking up over here. LOL. Thomas is too hilarious. Thank you very much for that, Matt Battle, for the super chat. It is much appreciated for your support, brother. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, man. Shout out to Mr. Chad the Great for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Chad. Much love to you, brother. Much appreciation to you, Chad. Much love to you, Matt Battle. He says here, Thomas, what size hat do you wear? Because that's cap. Nobody is beaten Latin woman. Brazil and Colombia for life. Ecuador at the end of the summer. Ooh, brother, we need that intel Ecuadorian woman, bro, as soon as possible. Chad the Great, please let me know when you're going out there to Ecuador. And when you come back, we need that hardcore intel on Ecuadorian woman. Thank you very much for that, Chad the Great. Much appreciation to you, brother. Thank you, bro. Shots at you, Thomas. I'll let you address that afterwards, brother. Let me bring in Ninja 55. What's going on, Ninja? How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, IP? I'm doing okay. And how are you, the rest of you brothers doing?
you know, I'm doing great, man.
Doing great, brother. Thank you. What's your question for our guest, Mr. Ninja?
My question is, you said you only stayed in Osaka for 6 hours?
Yeah, basically like half a day trip. So like I went to like Dotonbori and kind of just like rode around real quick because I was taking a connecting train to Hiroshima and then eventually to Kyushu because I wanted to see some of the like real countryside during
Right,
my first like run through of Japan. But now that I
right.
live here, it's about maybe like 2.5 hours by train. So I know I'm
Oh,
definitely gonna have more intel on that because the good thing about being a teacher is that I do have like holidays. So I know I'll
right.
have more time to really stay there, get a nice place and kind of stay there for a little bit and try to connect
Oh,
with some of the people.
okay. The reason I asked because I was in
Mhm.
Osaka back in 2019, September of 2019. Wow, I
Oh,
still remember.
cool. Did
I
you do
stayed.
anything?
Yeah, I was traveling around and everything in Osaka.
Mhm.
I went to this station called I guess you probably passed it by on the train. Namba Station in Osaka. It was
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been through there.
It had all these things there, all these man. It was beautiful. It had the river, it had all that. I walked through there. I liked it. And the airport was lit too. Believe it or not, I'm
Oh,
like, wow, the
really?
airport. Yeah, I came in through the Kinks, Ki the Kinks Kicks
Uh,
airport. It was nice.
okay,
Then
yeah.
took the train. It was nice. I had a good experience, but it was pretty expensive. I'm like, wow. And
Yeah,
and
like
I'm
once you get to those big cities for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to Japan, but they saying that Japan is only open to students, and students and workers. It ain't open up. They didn't open up tourism yet, so I'm still trying to go there. You know.
I hear it's real soon. Like from the people, like just being here now and hearing
It's
the
June.
talks, like June is like the real promise date where people can start coming in. But that immigration process, man, they have to change that because I was stuck at the airport. Like I got off the plane around like 4:50. I didn't even get to my hotel until almost 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. I was stuck at that airport for almost more than 4 hours doing the COVID testing and all that paperwork. I mean, they can't do that. Like for tourism and stuff like that, they either got to limit it or it's just ridiculous, man. So
Oh, wow. So
yeah,
how do you so you're a permanent resident? Because I was wondering how do you get citizenship there?
I'm not permanent resident because I think you need first off you have to be in Japan for like a certain amount of time. I don't know if it's 10 years. And then you have to have a Japanese national vouch for you too and basically write a recommendation. So to get permanent residency, it's like you need to know Japanese people. And that's the thing about this country is that whatever you want to own in Japan, like whether it's property or there's always a middleman. If you're not 100% Japanese or an official citizen, I mean, it blocks you from like enjoying the rest of life. But unless you have somebody, whether it's a good friend, your wife, because it's easier to get a spouse visa, and
Right.
that goes on forever until you get a divorce. Once that happens, then you got to. For me, I have a 1 year work visa,
Right.
so yeah, I'm on an instructor visa. I want to change my visa because each visa has its own rules, which some people follow, but I've talked to other foreign people. They don't follow it. You just gotta stay low key and you gotta renew it every year. And usually you have to go through your sponsor, which is your company. For me, if you work, it's your company. If it's your student, it's your school. And they always have to, even when you transfer jobs, you have to let immigration know so then they can switch the sponsor. So again, the way Japan works is that you always have to have somebody who's 100% Japanese speaking on your behalf. If not, you're always screwed.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, and
who's the person speaking on your behalf, bro?
My company, yeah,
Okay.
my school company is the one who is literally handling my whole my housing. Like, shoot, I feel like I'm owned, you know. But yeah, they handle that stuff.
Okay.
wow.
Thank you, Ninja. Do you have one more question, Ninja? Or is that it?
Yeah, yeah. You said that the Japanese girls, Japanese women are different than Chinese women.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, Chinese women, like if they want you, they're gonna be aggressive. Um, I've kind of seen this with like Thai women, where they kind of have that same energy of like sexually, like they'll be in your face with it, like they'll let you know, like oh yeah yeah yeah. If they don't mess with you, they won't even look in your way. With Japanese women, they're very subtle with it, and they're never gonna like if they say hello to you in English, you have to take that as a sign. Like
Right.
that is literally your best way. Most people be like, "Oh no, she just said hi." But again, with Japanese women, you always have to be friends first. I'm starting to get that concept because I've been learning
Well,
from my coworkers, but also like when I do my day trips to the city and even talking with Japanese women, is that you can't just go for the kill, like yo, I'm here to do this. They'll run away.
Right.
You
And
really have to
also,
be there.
all right, Ninja. Sorry, bro. I'm gonna have to go with bringing a new caller. Thank you, Ninja. But I'll come back to you after Ninja, okay?
all right.
Just so we keep it fair. What was I gonna say? Um, brother. So you've been to Hong Kong before? You said.
Hmm. Yeah.
Can we set up a stream about Hong Kong, please, in the future?
Yeah. I could talk a little bit of Hong Kong. I wasn't
Yeah.
there for too long, but I do have a little bit of experience in Hong Kong.
Thank you, bro. Maybe make it into a Hong Kong China stream because I've always wanted to get into regarding Hong Kong because I know people say that Hong Kongans Hong Kongers. I don't even know if that makes sense. Hong Kongans.
Hong Kongers, I think is how
Okay.
they call themselves. Yeah, a little
Hong
bit different. Yeah.
Kongers. They're a bit more civilized than the Chinese people, and they give it brothers a lot more play in Hong Kong than China. But we need to. Is that true?
I think it's about the same. Because
Okay.
I really want to go to Shanghai, but right now they're on super lockdown, and China just they really messing with foreigners over there. So I don't suggest even traveling to China right now because they're really
Ever
locking up foreigners. Right? Well, not ever, but right
living
now
there.
China is not a good. Well, living there, yeah. People I've been seeing videos of people trying to escape Shanghai and China recently because the way they have their COVID lockdown that they reset up, I want to say it's a war zone, but like if you're a foreigner, they literally tape your door and put signs that say if you leave, that's a crime. And they were just talking about this on CNN maybe several weeks ago of like Americans, UK reporters, China. Like I love Hong Kong, but right now I do not recommend anybody going to China right now.
That's
I really
mad.
don't.
That's
Yeah.
madness, bro. Yeah, I don't plan on going to China.
Yeah.
Yeah, not right now. I mean, they do treat black people a little bit different, and the Chinese people are more money oriented. So they really about the like, if you come from a high family or society, like they're kind of more like if Japanese women are less like Japanese women are not materialistic. Chinese people, especially northern Chinese,
Yes.
they're like very materialistic. And if you don't got this car, if you don't have a good job, if you don't have a good degree, you're kind of you're going to be shamed in the family. They won't even bring you near your family. How about that? And it's a little bit different because Hong Kong is more Southern Chinese, so Cantonese people have a different vibe, and there is a big difference between Northern Chinese like Beijing, Shanghai, some of those other northern, and obviously they sound different because of the dialects. But yeah, I don't recommend going to China right now, at all.
Yeah. Hold on. Shout out to Matt Battle for the $4.99 super chat. This is really great into IP. Thanks, DS. Thank you again for the super chat, Mr. Matt Battle. Much appreciation, bro. The field view. Can you turn your camera on in the background for a bit? Thank you, brother. Confirmed. Much appreciation, bro. Thomas, you want to say anything else before I bring in the field view?
Um, yeah, brother. In Kabukicho,
Yes.
what street smarts did you learn?
I'd say just kind of this is what I do. Like if you really don't want nobody like hassling you, is I usually either have like because it don't matter if you have your headphones in, like they'll still try to grab you. But if you literally have your cell phone and you either talking with a friend or you even faking it, like that's how I know. Like if I'm going through like an area like Golden Guy, where all the bars are at, and you see a lot of like people just standing waiting, basically, they're like little petty thugs, but they're promoters, and you don't really want them messing with you. I literally just I'm either talking with my friend or like I just have my phone next to my head, like I'm listening or like I'm on the phone, and that type of street smart, like most people will not bother you if you're on the phone. Like that's what I've really learned. Like that's what I'll be doing. Like if you don't want nobody bothering you and you're going through like an area where there's people just waiting to talk to you or hand you something, like literally just be on your phone. That's what I've been learning. But
Awesome,
most cases,
awesome,
some people just won't even deal with you.
awesome, bro. Thanks,
Yeah,
IP.
no problem.
Thanks, Thomas. Let me bring in Mr. The Field View. The Field View, how you doing, brother? Long time no speak. Hope you're well. You there, bro? The Field View, you there? We can't hear you, brother. What's going on with the Field View? Okay, he's just got a few problems. Okay, I'll put you on mute. Let me know when you get back in, brother. Okay. So I've got around 10 more minutes for the stream. I'm gonna keep it at 2 hours. The brother DS is over there in Japan currently. I know he might have some things to do later on the day, to do some stuff. I'm a bit tired as well, so I'd say 10 more minutes. I'll be on the stream. If you have any questions for the brother, please call in or cash up or super chat your questions. And make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you support the channel, join the Patreon, etc., etc. And make sure you comment on the channel when it goes live on my channel after the stream. Thomas, do you have any more questions at all?
So brother, how was the Tokyo nightlife? Also, did Japanese women talk about the West, and how are their feelings towards like feminism, liberalism, just what goes on in the West?
Yeah, definitely with the night
What
scene
was
right
that?
now.
No.
It,
Asked him how are just the night scene in Tokyo, and how are Japanese women's views towards Western culture.
Can you hear me? Oh, my bad.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, no, to answer your question, in terms of like Tokyo, uh, I mean, from what I've noticed, what they've been talking about more is about these like, in terms of the Western stuff, is basically, they're still on that Ukraine, the Ukraine war situation.
mm,
So some people are having mixed views. I hear a lot of women talk about that, but also they're talking about the Amber Heard trials, the Johnny Depp situation. The Will Smith thing is still big.
oh no.
Um, but
Mm,
other than that, I mean, they don't talk about too much of like the political sense of what's going on in the West as much. The night scenes, they still, more people are just more about having fun. But I do see like, because now since those restrictions of COVID have been more loose lately, I'm starting to see some of those like club scenes come back, because in Yokohama, some of those club scenes are dead. Like I was trying to go like one Saturday, I was like, oh, let me go hit the bar and go to a nightclub, and it was nothing. I was like, and this was during Golden Week. I was like, man, I was expecting to, but maybe because maybe it's more of a family holiday that most people were with their families. So it could have been that, I just could have went on the wrong day where it was just so quiet. But when I was in Tokyo during Golden Week, and especially in Shinjuku, like people were out, people were having fun. There was a lot of drunks, swinging around, But people are just having a good time. So I'm starting to see that Tokyo is starting to be more alive again, like pre-COVID. So things are getting much better. But they, in terms of feminism and stuff like that, I've seen some girls where they want to showcase it a little bit more. And again, it's still a small group, so it's not. It's like it's still not in your face like how it is in the West. So
okay, awesome, bro. Thanks.
yeah, no problem.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Hold on the field view. Give me 1 second, bro. Shout out to Mr. Jeremy Says for the $5 super chat again. Thank you for the support throughout the stream, Jeremy Says. Much love to you, brother. Much appreciation for coming through tonight. Jeremy Says means a lot to me, brother. Thank you. Mr. The Field View, are you back now, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, The Field View.
You can't hear me?
I think you got some. The Field View, I think if you drop out the call and call back in, it could be a connection issue.
I hear him pretty well.
I can't hear him.
I can hear him.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, well let me hop out real quick.
I hear you now. I hear you now. Sorry, brother.
Oh no, you're good. I had to like go into the settings and like anyway, my bad. I was at a company meeting, so I kind of missed like the very first like portion of this, and I just hopped in because 007 told me that you were talking about Japan. I was like, what? What's good? So was the guest, was his main like area, was his stomping ground like Tokyo, or where did you?
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. Just to give you a small recap, I just moved to Japan.
Oh, dope. Okay.
So I'm in the Shizuoka prefecture, so
Okay.
east of Shizuoka, Susono specifically.
Okay.
So I'm like an hour away from Tokyo by bullet
Okay.
train,
Okay.
and I just been to Tokyo more. Like I visit Tokyo more than any of the other cities. I want to visit Osaka more,
Oh yeah.
but yeah. So I just have more experience just in the Tokyo area. I'm just more familiar with Tokyo.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's
that's
understood.
why.
So it's just like more familiar. Is it just a matter of like the like Tokyoites treating you better, or have you just not like adventured out that much into like the Hyogoken area, like Osaka
Mm.
and Kyoto and stuff like that?
So Tokyo, since it's so international,
Yeah.
Tokyo is really easy to move around because
True.
there's more English.
Yeah.
It's just it has a similar layout to like either Brazil, not Brazil, like New York, LA, and
Mhm.
that's where I used to be at, like especially LA.
Yeah.
So it's just comforting. Like I can like if I lived in Tokyo, I can handle everything on my own. Like you
Accessibility,
know what I mean?
convenience is
Convenient,
higher.
just
Okay.
in general. So it's like I mean, I'll get lost a few times, but I'm never feel like I'm really that lost. I have been to the, like Kyushu near
Yeah.
Sega,
Yeah.
and I went to Kitsuki Island. I
Oh.
don't know. I mean, it's a very small island because I really
Mhm.
wanted to go see the countryside.
Yeah.
I've been to Kyoto a couple of times, like four or two
Mhm.
times, but
Mhm.
different vibe in Tokyo.
Oh yeah,
More,
completely.
yeah. And I've been to Yokohama recently,
Mhm.
two times. So that's kind of still new to me. Still, I'm still getting familiar with Yokohama.
Okay.
But with Tokyo, I've just the accessibility and how easy it is. That's
Yeah.
where I kind of like it's easier. But I do want to venture. Like I really do want to go to Hokkaido because I never been up north other than Nagano.
Yeah,
But
I love
yeah.
Hokkaido. I was there for all of high school,
Oh
and
wow.
I have a massive bias for like Hokkaido and Osaka. When you go to
Oh nice.
Hokkaido, like you'll find and you'll meet more people from Osaka and from like other parts of Hyogoken, or
Mm-hmm.
basically like all the cities from like around Osaka.
Yeah,
Um,
like
their
Kobe.
personalities and their like outlooks are very similar. Hokkaido and Osaka. There's just like a difference in terms of
Mm,
like
okay.
their humor and the way they interact with people. Like Osakan people are not afraid to get a little loud in like in the form
Mm-hmm.
of like a joke or in the form of like showing out when you're like having a party or something like that. But like
Yeah.
Hokkaido people, they're really reserved. So
Mm.
they'll only do that whenever you really get inside their innermost circle. So
Oh,
um
that's cool.
yeah, it's really rewarding to be a part of a like a friend group in Hokkaido, and I would say the
Mm-hmm.
same thing as Osaka, but it just feels like the vibe for Osaka, like the friendliness comes like so much easier. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and I've been
um,
hearing a lot about that.
yeah.
That's why I want to spend more time there, to really get a good sense of the city and just the people too.
What sort of luck have you gotten with the ladies in like Osaka compared to? I know that you've been to Tokyo a lot, but like,
Hmm.
what's been like the differences for you, like mainly?
Well, I only been in Japan 3 weeks, so I'm
Okay.
still fresh,
Ah, yeah. Okay.
and still getting settled in. So with Osaka, not so much because I wasn't there long enough for Osaka to really get a sense of the women.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And like when you're like a tourist, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, let me see this, let me do that. But with Tokyo though, um, the women, they say, oh, so cool, or like they're more. I mean, I can only speak on Tokyo, but I
Yeah.
mean, they do notice.
Yeah.
But I've just been noticing because now I live in Susono and
Yeah.
I'm just too fresh to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I've been talking to a couple women, but I've noticed that like, you really got to get into like their like friend first. You can't just go straight for the kill. I've been kind of figuring out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I've just been trying to learn as much of the culture and trying to read the air as much,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I mean, they
Read the air. I
are a
like
little
that.
bit
Yeah.
more shy,
Yeah.
and I noticed that a lot of them are kind of scared to talk to me because of like English.
Yeah,
And so
it's really
I've been
intimidating
picking
for
up
most
on it.
Japanese people to like speak English. They're just really concerned about saying the wrong thing and making you mad usually. Um,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which is a like when I found that out, that was like mind blowing. I was just like, "What? You don't like me because I'm a foreigner? You don't like the fact that the situation is goofy for you?" I was like, "Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
How can I make the situation not nerve wracking for you?" And then that usually comes with like mastery of the language or something like that. So,
That's what I've been figuring out.
yeah,
I've been picking up on that because like some of the women I talk to and this and that, like, you know, they obviously they're very polite, but I've noticed that like if my Japanese level keeps improving or at least get to a certain level,
mhm,
then that kind of breaks that kind of like that the anxiousness of like, oh, he's gonna talk to me in English. I'm not ready for English, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
type of
100%.
vibe. So
That
that's what I've been picking up
and
on.
that like language skills as well as like long term plans.
Mhm.
You're there as like a teacher, right, or something
Yeah.
else?
So
Okay.
I'm here for a year, but I want to stay longer.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you tell people that, like you plan on staying longer, there are a lot of Japanese people who have like an anchor in their life that, like, in the United States, we'll move like 4 or 5 times in our life. In
Mhm.
Japan, it's like once, and
Ooh.
like they're friends with their friends from, they'll be like 30, 40 years old, and they'll still be hanging out with the friends that they went to, play kickball with in elementary school. Like they live next
Mm.
to those people. So they have like really long-term relationships. They treat people who act like tourists, if they just say that, yeah, I'm only going to be here for a year or 2 years, they'll treat you differently. Like their
Yeah.
outlooks are just going to be short term, and they're not going
Mhm.
to be trying to plan or invest anything long term. But if you say that, you intend on staying there for an extended period of time, and you're trying to put in all this sort of like sweat equity into learning about the culture and the people, they'll come running. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that for sure.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
All right. Thank you, the field view.
yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Thomas Demahin, DS, and every brother that called in. Thank you to all the brothers who super chat and cash apped. This has been a great stream. DS, one more time, thank you for taking the time out, brother, for this
Yeah, no,
stream. It's been a pleasure. Okay, brother?
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So, brother, I'm going to end the stream now. Feeling a bit tired, very tired. Need to get some sleep. And huge thank you to DS over there in Japan. Have a great day, brothers worldwide. Make sure you
Mhm.
join the Patreon, hit the Cash App, join the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook group, etc., etc. And I will see you, brothers, on my next live stream. Take care, brothers. Thank you very much.